Hi, we are here on the banks of the Willamette River in Portland, Oregon, and you can see behind me that's the Selwood Bridge, and I'm at the Selwood Riverfront Park. And we are here at this particular location because the animal I want to talk about, my favorite bird in the whole world, this is its habitat, right? Habitat is a place where animals and plants live. This is prime habitat for this guy. So, who do you think this is? What is this guy? Any ideas? I just saw it as I was setting up the camera, flying by me. This is an osprey. It's a raptor. What raptor means to seize, so they seize their food with their talons or their claws, and we'll get into that. This is an osprey again, and the way that you can tell it's an osprey, a couple things. You notice that white underbelly right here, and you see this black stripe right here. Black wings, underneath their wings, it's black and white-ish, kind of hard to explain. And right now, a few weeks ago, they just returned from South America. So they migrate in the winter to South America, they come back here, they have their babies. Actually, I'm looking at an osprey nest right now, and I just saw the osprey messing around with stuff up there. So how do I be able to spot an osprey in the wild, right? Well, I didn't know that they were back from South America until I heard their call. Their call is very distinctive, they're very chatty, they like to talk a lot, and it's a very distinctive call. So this is their call. This is what helped me identify that they were back. Can you hear that? So it's chirp, 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 and they're very, very talkative. So that's how you can know that they're around. The other way is when they are flying in the air. If you look up in the air, instead of being straight out like a bald eagle, their wings are kind of like crooked a little bit. So if you look up and you instantly see, oh, straight out, that's either a bald eagle, maybe a red-tailed hawk. And then if you're near any kind of water body, it's also probably going to be an osprey when they're kind of crooked like this. And you'll see the white and the black underneath it as well. Skull. Now, we're going to talk about why osprey are osprey. What do they have on their bodies to help them survive in their habitat, right? The reason why the osprey lives in this habitat is because it needs its food, which is fish. Got a lot of fish, check. Needs water, check. It needs a lot of space to be able to get that food and that water. I would say this is pretty big space, right? Check. And then shelter, right? It just lives along the banks here to help protect itself from predators, you know, things like that. Shelter as far as, you know, wind and rain, cold. And we're going to talk about their nests in a little bit here. First, let's talk about what they have on their bodies to help them survive. So this is an osprey skull. Remember, like I said, these are fake, they're not real, okay? And the number one thing I want you to notice is this beak. Look how sharp and curved this is, okay? This is gonna help it to rip the meat out of the fish, they pull the meat out and rip it and shred it up to be able to get it. And also look at the eyes. Those eyes are pretty compared to the rest of the skull. Those are really big eyes, right? They have to be able to spot their food, fish, from the water high up, right? In the trees, flying around. And then when they spot a fish, they'll actually hover in over the water. They'll sit there and hover, hover, hover. And then when they, okay, this is a fish, I got my lock on it, and they'll come down and they'll grab the fish. So they need to have excellent eyesight to be able to see through the water and at a long distance. So as far as hunting goes, okay, they're up here and they are hovering around. They go down, they're gonna put out their feet first, and they're gonna grab a hold of that fish in the water. And sometimes that's so forceful that they actually put most of their body in the water to grab it. So they'll go into the water, they'll grab the fish, and they'll come back up, and they'll fly away. Now here's the thing, this is what's unique about osprey, is that if the tail is flying the way that they are flying, that's not gonna be very aerodynamic for them, right? So what they're gonna do is they're actually gonna turn the fish around so that the head is facing the same direction as they're flying. And that's going to be a lot easier for them to be able to fly successfully with the way they need. And they're not going to let go of that fish until they stop on a branch or their nest and then their talons will be able to release that fish. And they mostly eat fish. Sometimes they eat other things, but that's mainly what they're gonna do. So their nests, right now they're doing is they're gathering material for their nest. Huge logs, big twigs. The thing is about osprey is that they're really opportunistic, which means that they're not too picky about what they use. They'll use trash. I've seen plastic bags, like from Safeway, kind of weaved in through the nest. Whatever works for them, they're gonna use. And they're gigantic, they're humongous, right? Just like a bald eagle nest, because these guys have, you know, their big bodies, they have to sit in that nest, and they have 2 to 3 babies, depending, you know, on the year. But here's the difference between a bald eagle nest and an osprey nest. An osprey nest is gonna be out in the open. Usually you'll see them on maybe cell phone towers, power poles. Lots of times the electricity company will build platforms, flat platforms out in the open, and the osprey put their nests on there. The one over here that I can see, it is the very, very top of a power line tower. Now, a bald eagle nest is gonna be secluded, like in trees where you can't see it. But the osprey are out in the open so that they can see predators coming from all over. So they can help defend that territory, defend that nest, protect those babies. The bald eagles, again, are gonna have it in the trees. Here's an excellent example. Here where I'm standing, right by the Willamette River in the Selwood neighborhood, I can see a bald eagle, I can see an osprey nest right over there. It's pretty far away, that's why the camera's not gonna be on it. I can see it over there, but then I would say maybe a quarter of a mile from that, I can see a big forest of trees, and there's a bald eagle nest in there. So we have a bald eagle's nest and an osprey nest within less than a half a mile of each other. And normally that could not happen. It's just, they would not appreciate each other being there. But because their habitat is so big and so vast and has such good food, water, shelter, and space, they can tolerate each other. And so it's actually kind of rare to see them that close, but that's how we know that the habitat is so good for them, because they can live so far. Now, I do see them not liking each other. I'll see them squawking at each other, trying to attack each other to get each other out of the area. But for the most part, they live a half a mile of each other, and they don't seem to mind too much. So anyway, looks like the boats are ramping up for fishing. You can see the boats out here. And it's a beautiful, beautiful day on Sunday, so there's a lot of fishermen out today, and just people enjoying themselves. I hope you join me next time. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably nests, because it's nesting season. I have a whole bunch of really cool nests that you can see. All right, thanks.